Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weird and wonderful world. And I could have made this a mostly D culture show and tell, but I do kind of want to dedicate those episodes mostly to talking about a single band or a single album rather than a collection of albums and stuff. But I am going to go through my top 10 ranked, okay, of my comfort. It's my comfort music, okay? And I stole this idea from the Prog Corner. So go and give him some love. I'll leave a link to his channel down below and all that good stuff for sure. So thanks to the Prog Corner for giving me this idea. I wasn't sure if I was going to steal it or not, but I'm stealing it. Thank you. So, and of course, he kind of stole the idea from a couple of other people. So, what goes around comes around. But anyway, so when I talk about comfort music, it's not necessarily music. Well, okay, of course, with the term comfort, it's music that when I put it on, it takes me away from the world. It's comforting, it's soothing, it can inspire me. It has all those connotations that the word comfort means, okay? And this is in this ranking, you're gonna be like, that's a weird order. You would think that what's in number three, okay? You would think that would be number one, but there's even though it might be one of my favorite albums, of all time, it still might not be more of a comfort thing, like than something else that has a different flavor depending on my past experiences, my interpretation of when I first heard it, and all that stuff. Some of these are newer, some of these are older, okay, and they're all over the place. So I want to get out some quick honorable mentions. These are very honorable mentions I wanna talk about. The first one is the only thing I have on cassette, and mind you, it's all like everything. It has to be from my collection. I'm not going to ever mention anything that I don't own from my collection unless it's really important. And there's bands I need to review. There's like on request of some good friends of mine. I I will be getting some albums that I will be needing to review and give a more, yeah. So Mitch Arsenault, my good friend, my good childhood friend, yeah, I will be doing those requests that you asked for. So anyway, one of my comfort food type of albums, or music particularly, is not necessarily an album. It's a collection of all what I could get from the '60s Spider-Man cartoon music. That has a lot of great. Yeah, there is a playlist. I have a playlist of all of that down in my playlist. You can find that, and so I have it all there. But everything that is in that playlist is on this cassette. So I want to also honorable mention is any type of instrumental song that's old, new, or like even this here, this Rycooter, you know, these are so chill and they're so comforting. They could easily be in my comfort foods now, because they're so relaxing. They take you away from like I said, with this one here, it puts you on a Hawaiian luau, you know, and I think it's fantastic. I don't know. I find this very comforting. This album, the Suburbs by Arcade Fire. There's a kind of a darker message in it, but it's the musical chill to it. It's the vibe that it puts off that I find comforting. Even though there is like I said, there's a message about about the type of dynamics that a suburb has. But I don't know. I oddly find it comforting, just the musical tone of it and everything. And it gets me in a good mood for when I listen to it. I don't know, especially when you get to uh the uh the sprawl, the last one there of Mountains Beyond Mountains. Yeah, I find, again, honorable mention. I find this album of Coldplay very very comforting and calming and relaxing, and it's so chill. It's so chill, and I actually really like this. So none of these that I'm showing you haven't seen on my channel before. A lot of this might seem a little familiar to everybody. And again, the last one here for my honorable mentions, and that always puts me in a very, you know, comforting mood. And especially during this type of weather and summer that we're having, the Beach Boys is very appropriate. And I want to be playing this very soon this weekend, actually. But it is an honorable mention. So we're going to go into my top 10 in what I have in my collection. Yeah, they're pretty much stuff I go to constantly. And there's like some very new entries in here, and you'll see what's not in here. And a lot of things I wanted to put in my most comforting, but I couldn't put any King Gizzard. I couldn't put any Iron Maiden in there. I couldn't put any ACDC or Ozzy or Kiss or Metallica or anything like that. Another honorable mention I could have chose was like some of the Steve Vai, some of the Joe Satriani stuff, you know, stuff like that. Okay, so in place number 10, okay, is a soundtrack, and because it's from my favorite movie of all time, and of course, I put it on, and I find it's just so, again, I find the whole atmosphere relaxing and comforting, even though it's from such a weird movie in some ways, and that would be my Fight Club soundtrack. That's at number 10 because I don't know, it's comfort for me. It just puts me into I can imagine the movie playing out in my mind which each song and I can even just kind of put the movie out of my mind and just listen to the musicality of it, and it's still comforting. That's, you call me bizarre, but I'm sure a lot of people would, most people probably would listen to that and wouldn't even would like comforting. Well, it's my favorite movie of all time. At number 9 is, of course, Lemonheads. It's a shame about Ray. I put this on. It's such a because it's a kind of a short album. It finishes off with an awesome cover of Mrs. Robinson, but it has such a certain like, and just because it's comfort food doesn't mean it can't be a little heavy or whatnot. It can be a little heavy, but that's why that's at number 9. I think it's awesome. I can put it on anytime, and it just, yeah, all my troubles and worries are gone. I'm into it. I'm motivated. And I look through my Rush too, but is there any album in there that I truly find comforting? Not necessarily. So I couldn't put any Rush in there, and a few other bands. So at number 8, this album of Pucifer, The Conditions of My Parole. Again, I find it so chill. I find the whole the whole thing, like, relaxing, and it puts me in a great mood. All my troubles and all my problems and worries vanish when I listen to it. So it's one of my yeah, it's number 8. At number 6, boom. That number 6? No, that's wait, not 10, 10, 9, 8, 7. Oh, sorry, that's at number 7. Number 7, that's Mer de Nom, which is sea. It's French for sea of names. I find, again, this is so relaxing and chill, and by the time it's over, which is the last song is called Over. By the time it's over, oh yeah, I'm in a chillax, good mood, and all my problems and all my troubles and cares are out the door. Then this is a brand new entry, okay? This is like not, well, not, I mean brand new, but I mean, for me it's a newer addition to my collection. Well, it's at least 2 3 years old. At least 2 years old. At least 2 years old. Or maybe less. I don't know, maybe less. Uh, mm, yeah, maybe a little bit less. Okay. It is this. I wanted to put it higher. I wanted to put it higher, and oh, it was actually, believe it or not, it because it was almost even with with either. Okay, you can exchange these pretty equally with Kimono My House and Number One in Heaven. I find those also have a certain uplifting kind of, I can get I can get motivated, all my problems. Like what Annie Sparks, basically. You put a Sparks album on and it's comforting. It's comforting. It's whimsical. It's uplifting. Even, even with no, it's just such a ease, and yeah, it's so comforting to have a band that's so fun and so interesting and so unique. And I'm kind of, in a way, it's kind of awesome that I'm getting to experience it pretty much in a short period of time, which with people like Larry Graves and them growing into it as time went on, anticipating each new album and having a certain, here I am getting it so like one after the other, within weeks or like just a month and a half or from each other, and I'm still going to get more. I'm still going to get all of them. So that's at number six, but it could have been higher, even higher. But there are other things that kind of had to beat it because they're more. Now, this is not the album I discovered of them, but this is the album I want. Like, and again, there's another album from this artist that is all pretty much equally as comforting and as as this one. But I have to go with 100% fun. I almost wanted to take in reverse. But I find this one more comforting and just kind of, I put this on and my by the end of it, I'm just yeah, again, all my troubles, all my it's comforting. It's comforting. It's just uplifting and everything. Same thing with this one, in a way. Yeah, Solitude Standing. Again, there's some heavier subject matter on there a tiny bit. But by time you get to Callisto, Language, and Gypsy, which are my three favorite songs on this album, and I mean I also really love the title track of Solitude Standing, and of course I first discovered this by the Luca, you know, which again is kind of mellow and I don't know, I find it just lifts me away from my troubles, and I find it oddly inspirational. And when it finishes with the Tom Diner reprise, it kind of makes you smile because that's what the music would be for the kind of just her solo vocals at the beginning. But again, this is at number four. Yeah, this is at number four because I find her voice and there's other albums that could have been a contender, easy contender, you know. So at number three, and you would think that this would have been number one, and why wouldn't it be number one? You think it's like why, it's that's at number three. My favorite album of all time, the only album that I own an EP. But is it more comforting to me than what's in number one and two here? I don't know. I don't know. Of course I do. Because no, I find you'll see when I come to these next two why they're more comforting to me. One of them is from my childhood, and one is from my middle age, life. Okay, in my probably my late 20s when I first discovered this band. But anyway, yes, it's a. This is at number three. Oddly enough, you know how I feel about this. I don't have to go into any detail. I made enough videos already about this band that gives you a big insight into why it's important and meaningful to me. But at number two is The Boy with the Arab Strap. Yes, this album, I don't know why, yeah, it's the second most comforting album I own in many respects because it's just when I discovered it in Montreal, it like I wasn't sure about it at first. It was only on the second and third listens where I was convinced how much I really liked it. and only like I swear, like about a good 8 9 years later, did I really start listening to anything else. It was just this album for a long while, and then I ended up, yeah. But this is, yeah, I don't know. I love this album, and there's a few other Bell and Sebastian albums that I could have chose, but this one always rises to the top because it's the first one I discovered. It's the one that has the most sentimental value to me and sentimental meaning to me, and yeah, I just can put these, when the sleep the clock around, and I love Dirty Dream number two and The Boy with the Arab Strap. Those always transports me into a, you know, it's so snappy and so, and so calming, and I don't know. Number one, okay, because this is it's an album from my youth. It's the most wholesome. Well, growing up, it was one of the most wholesome artists that I felt personally, that I thought was wholesome and good, even though it's a tad religious, but it's okay. It is not overly preachy, and I never ever considered it overly preachy of the message behind the words. And the artist actually even kind of changed his name, changed his religion, and kind of almost started disowning his old music. But I always loved Cat Stevens. I always loved this album. I find this album so comforting and just relaxing and wholesome, and again it transports me out of my day-to-day doldrum. It breaks me it, Any of these breaks me out of my boredom, out of my out of my bad mood. It just puts me in a better state, a better mood, makes me smile, makes me happy, and I enjoy it, and I always feel better. I feel so much better after putting these on. So, because of personal reasons that I know people can't wouldn't understand. They would probably, and whatever is comforting to you, some people put the Smith album on, and they feel comfort. Some people put a Cure album on and they feel comfort. Some people put a Beatles album on and they feel comfort. It all depends on your background. Music is so subjective and personal and special. It's special for that everybody can feel similar, but never going to be the exact same experience to anybody. So I'm going to let you go before I get over 20 minutes. I don't like making these more than 20 minutes long if I can help it. You know how much I love all of you out there. Please, like always, be safe. Take care. Be safe. I will see you on the flip side. And please, everybody, have a great day, evening, morning, night, afternoon, wherever you may be. Peace, everybody.